getting kind of a late start this morning. It's already going on probably 10:30, something like that. Very humid, not a breath of air. Fortunately, I'm underneath trees, which helps immensely with this heat that we're having. Although I shouldn't complain because parts of the country right now are scorching in over 100-degree temps, and we're in the upper 80s, but with the humidity factor, the index is like in the 90s. I'm going to be working on building the door for the barn. So I just took some basic measurements. I'm going to go ahead and get it started. Nothing about this barn is level or square, so I'm going to have to work around some issues with the opening itself, being that it's not square. Okay, I'm gonna get started, and so you guys see what I'm going to do with the door. And again, you know, we're trying to do everything with minimum cost, and I have lumber that we purchased. It's actually intended for fencing. It's treated lumber. We've been using it for a lot of projects because it is very inexpensive. It's 6-foot boards, 1 by 4 by, I'm sorry, I think they're 1 by 6 by 6 feet long. So that's what we've been doing because there's just like just over $2 a board. So we're going to be using those boards, and then we also got these 2x2s that are also treated, and we're going to be using these for our frame. So stay tuned, and we'll show you what we're going to do. Maybe, you know, some of you can pick up an idea or two from doing something, you know, on a budget, as we've been doing, because for the year that we've been here, we've had, obviously, we're incurring a lot of expenses doing the renovation to the cabin and to the property, and we are doing everything ourselves, 100%. We have not hired any contractor ever for the entire time we've been here. We have not hired anyone. We've done our own repairs. We've had plumbing repairs we've had to do, and we're doing it all ourselves, you know. putting 6 2x2s in between, 16 inches apart, and the length of the door is 80 inches. Total width will be 4 feet, 48 inches, and that's including the 2x2s on either side. So I have to cut the middle one accordingly, you know, and take away 2.5 inches from the middle. So the actual measurement is 45.25 inches. Okay, so those are my measurements, and now I'm going to get some screws and screw it in from the side, and then I'll start laying my boards on top of it. And guys, one of the things I do so that I don't have to worry about splitting my wood is I take a screw and I take my hammer and I gently tap on the tip of it to break off that point a little bit so that it's not so sharp, and it works. I don't have to pre-drill, and 99% of the time you know, I won't split the wood, and I'll be able to get the screw in there and without a problem. And it works for me. So but see, no splits. And now I'll do the other side. Got one side all screwed in, and now I do the other side. I'm using 3-inch screws. these are fencing boards, so as you can see they have like a pattern up here. So I'm going to be cutting off the width of 2 of these boards so that I can have one board on the top and the bottom.
Your body go on your heart. It's not easy to start over. I've been there a couple of times, starting over. Know that when the night comes over you, rushes into you, you will shed that skin. It feels like a long run up here. Just stay still. Take the smallest breaths, the shortest steps. It's enough. Take it easy and let your feelings out. Don't push them aside. Don't hide. No.
Wow, it's big.
Come on, pick up that side. Ready? And go. Hold it so I can get something to put underneath.
Yeah.
All right, guys, the door's done. And you know, some of you who've been following the channel know that I don't look at anybody's stuff. I like to do my own thing. I like to come up with my own builds, my own ideas, what works for me. This was very inexpensive. I mean, these 2x2s are like $2.50, $2.70, $80, whatever they are, less than $3 per 8-foot length. And I didn't need that many. I think I used like maybe 3, 4. And then I used these 1x6 by 6 treated decking boards. I mean fencing boards. And they work great, as you can see. I put some reinforcements here for torque, top and bottom. And then I spaced these out 16 inches apart. And overall, I had to modify the opening a little bit so that the door would close properly. And it does. And it's pretty heavy. You wouldn't think it, but it's pretty heavy. And for the time being, we'll just put a screwdriver in there like that, just to hold the shot. And I need to buy some new locks because those locks that I brought back from Italy are junk and they don't work well, so we're gonna buy new ones. But look at that, not bad, right guys? We have a barn door. And then the next thing we're going to do is remove all of that particle board they use for siding and replace it with the same boards. And the same thing here. We're going to close all of that. We're going to close everything down on the bottom and also here. That's just a temporary panel that I placed there. And then we'll stain everything. Look, he's trying to eat the water, this bigger thing. Okay. All right. So, and then we'll get more of the same fencing boards. And we'll finish this side, and then we'll finish this side as well, because we're getting too much water coming into the barn from up here. So I'm going to have to close it, and I think for the time being I might just put up a tarp here and here. I don't know yet, I have to see, but as you can see it's still open, so water does get in, and that's not exactly ideal. Plus it gets really muddy in here. I have to extend this roof so that it stays more dry underneath here. But that's not going to be for a while. But the goats are happy now. They get out here and they get to roam around. As you can see, they've been putting a dent in it. They've been eating quite a bit. So, and they can go all the way around to the back. So they're pretty happy, I think. But that's the plan, guys. I gotta, take this tree down eventually. I have to cut all the limbs of the branches, and then I'm gonna try in the fall. I'm gonna attempt to cut it down, and that's going to be challenging because you see how close that tree is to the barn. So, but I'll get it done one way or another. But I'm happy. All right, guys. We now have, it's official, we now have a barn door.